Okay. Ruchi Koval is the co-founder and associate director of Congregation JFX, an innovative Kiruv community in Cleveland, Ohio. She has been a Jewish educator for two decades, leading Musar groups for adults and teens, and mentoring educators around the world. Ruchi is a certified parenting coach, motivational speaker, musician, author, and mother. She is a trip leader for Momentum, inspiring hundreds of women on their journeys in Israel. She is also a columnist for the Cleveland Jewish News, and her first book, Conversations with God, was released in 2016 with the second book on the way. Find Ruchi on Facebook and Instagram, her blog at outoftheorthodoxbox.com, and her podcasts on iTunes or Spotify. I feel honored and privileged to introduce Ruchi. Ruchi is also with us every morning. We're so privileged to have you, Ruchi.
I was going to say, you forgot the most important part of my bio, is that I'm part of a very special Nishmas group every morning.
We're so lucky. Like, it's just unbelievable. How did we look at this bio? Wow. Okay, I'm putting myself on mute. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's actually an interesting story how I got on here, but maybe I'll tell that part at the end. Okay. For now, thank you so much, Naomi, for that beautiful intro and for inspiring me every single morning. Literally, the Hakarat Tov I have for you for saying Nishmas every morning with so much passion and devotion and kavana. You literally start every day off right. For me and all the women who join, you fill me up. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
I'd like to sing one more little bit sad song, one bit happy both. Because it's Shabbos. Give me harmony, friends, give me harmony, hold on to the last note. Can you imagine? Can you visualize? Can you think about 2,400 years ago, somewhere on a street corner, in the holy city, Yerushalayim. And maybe, it was on Motzei Shabbos. Yeshayahu the holy prophet came down somewhere from the Hamayim. You know, sweetest friends, let me tell you, according to our tradition, everybody knows that they have Torah, the portion of the prophet we read after a certain portion of the Torah. That means that the prophet prophesied this on that Motzei Shabbos of the portion of that we hear. I'm not getting involved in the depths of it right now. So Shabbos was Hanan 2,400 to 500 years ago. Yeshayahu Novi listened to the Parsha was Hanan. And he came down to the streets and he prophesied and he said, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, Yom HaElokecha. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, Yom
That was just a tease for all of you. For what we're heading into this Shabbos, Shabbos Parshas V'chanan, Shabbos Nachamu, the Shabbos of Nechama, the Shabbos of comfort. And the word Nechama, comfort, If any of you here are named Nechama, you're going to feel very special when this is over. The root of this word appears 14 times in Tanakh. And I'd like to go through them with you. And hopefully we can get a sense of what is the true deep meaning of this word. And what does it mean to be comforted. And how it's used in its different contexts in the Torah. The very first place that this word is used in the Torah is when Noach was born in Bereshis. And it says, Vayikra es shemo Noach lemor, ze yenachamenu mima'asenu ume'itzvon yadenu min ha'adama asher erera Hashem. When Noach was born, they called him Noach. Why? Because they said, this one will comfort us from our hard work and from the toil of our hands from this land that Hashem has cursed. And the Torah says that Noach was the first one to create tools that they could use to farm the earth. Because don't forget, Hashem had cursed the earth after Adam and Chava's chait, and it was very hard to farm. And Noach made life easier for them. Zeh yinachamenu. This one will comfort us. Okay? The second place it appears in the Torah is when Hashem is looking down at the Dor HaMabul, and Hashem is extremely distressed by what he sees. So what does it say in Bereshis? Perek Vav, Pasuk Vav. One of the saddest psukim in the whole Torah, in my humble opinion. Vayinachem Hashem ki asa es ha'adam ba'aretz vayisatzev al libo. Hashem regretted having created man, and he was sad in his heart. What a horrible thing for Hashem to feel, that Hashem regretted creating us. Don't forget, when Hashem created the world, everything that Hashem said, he said, Vayar ki tov, he saw that it was good, and he saw that everything was good. And when he saw the human being and he saw that it was good, and then Hashem said, no, it's not good for man to be alone, I'll make him an Ezer Kenegdo. And now Hashem looks at the crown jewel of creation, and Hashem is sad, and Hashem regrets. That's what Vayinachem means in this context, regret. Okay, let's keep going, and we'll start to uncover the mystery of what this means. The third time it appears in the Torah is when Hashem actually decides to destroy the Jewish people, to destroy there were no Jewish people yet, to destroy everybody in the world during the Mabul except for Noach. Vayomer Hashem, Emche es ha'adam asher barasi me'al penei ha'adama. Hashem said, I am going to erase the humans that I created off the face of the earth, may adam ad behema, from human to animal, ad remes, to all the bugs, ad ofa shemayim, and even the birds. Why? Ki nichamti ki asisim, because I regret that I created them. Again, we have nechama as a sign of regret. Number 5. Number 5 is the story of Yitzchak and Rivka and their children, Yaakov and Esav. And what happens? We know that Rivka helps Yaakov steal the brachos from Yitzchak, and Esav becomes incensed and infuriated. And he says to himself, after my father dies, after my grandfather, Avraham, after we finish the days of mourning, I'm going to kill my brother Yaakov. So Rivka, it was told to Rivka, Vayugad leRivka, es divrei Esav b'nah hagadol. It was told to Rivka what Esav said, that he was plotting on killing his brother. Vatikra Yaakov, she calls to Yaakov, b'nah hakatan, her younger son. Vatomer 11, she says to him, Hinei Esav achicha misnachim lecha lahargecha. Esav, your brother, the way he's consoling himself. Here we have this. If you think about the grammar carefully, this is a reflexive verb, misnachim. He is consoling himself by telling himself that he's going to kill you. This is how he is making himself feel better. This is how a Rasha comforts himself, by plotting revenge. So now we have, in the same sense as it was used with Noach, a sense of comfort. Number 6 is where Yosef is kidnapped and sold into slavery by his brothers. And the brothers take Yosef's ksonas pasim, they kill a goat, they dip the ksonas pasim into the blood of the goat, and they bring it to Yaakov in order to allow Yaakov to come to the conclusion that Yosef was torn apart by a wild animal and killed. So what happens? Yaakov sits down to sit Shiva for his son, and of course all of his sons know that he's not dead. Vayakumu kol banav v'chol benosav, all of Yaakov's sons and daughters got up. Linachamo, to comfort him. Vayima ein lehisnachem, but he refused to become comforted. Again, there's the reflexive noun. He refused to allow himself to be comforted. Vayomer, and he said, Ki erid el bini avel sha'ula vayef oso aviv. I will go down with my son as a mourner to the grave. And he cried over his son. And the Mefarshim say, why did Yaakov refuse to be consoled? Because somewhere he knew that Yosef was still alive, not consciously, but that when a person is truly gone, Hashem allows there to be comfort because Hashem allows time to heal the wounds. But in this case, Yosef really wasn't gone. And somewhere in Yaakov's not conscious consciousness, he couldn't let Yosef go. He couldn't move on because he was still alive. He wasn't really dead. So he refused comfort. Few more. The next one is also just a regular, form of comfort. This is when Yehuda's wife Shua dies. Vayirbu hayamim vatamas bas Shua eshes Yehuda vayinachem Yehuda. Yehuda is comforted from his wife's death. Vayal al gozes etzono hu v'chira reyehu adulamitim nasa. And he and his friend Chira go to a sheep shearing festival. So we see this is the opposite of Yaakov. This is the natural course of events, that his wife dies, he's sad, he goes through the mourning process, and then he's able to move on, and he's able to go to this sheep shearing festival. Even though when a loved one is gone, we don't feel like we can ever celebrate again. But here we see that Yehuda was able to be comforted, the opposite of Yaakov's experience. The next instance we have of this is said by Yosef. Yosef is in Mitzrayim. His brothers come down. Yosef torments them in many ways. And finally, at the end, he says, Ani Yosef, I am Yosef. And the brothers become so terrified. And they come to realize, what did they actually do? That they sold their brother into slavery. And now their brother is the most important person in the whole land. And Yosef, in his incredible greatness, comforts his brothers who kidnapped him and sold him into slavery. What does he say? Va'ata al tira'u, don't be afraid. Anochi achalkel eschem ve'estabchem, I will support you and your children. Va'yenachem osam, he consoled them. Va'yedaber al libam, and he spoke to their heart. So he comforted them. The next instance we have of this is when Bnei Yisrael go out of Mitzrayim. And what does Hashem do? Hashem does not take them the straight way going out of Mitzrayim. Hashem takes them through a circuitous route. Hashem did not lead them through the land of the Plishtim. Ki karovu, it was too close. Ki amar Elokim pen yinachem ha'am, maybe my nation will reconsider. When they see war, I took them out of Mitzrayim. This was such an amazing nace, but maybe when they start to encounter difficulty, they start to encounter war, they'll regret having left Mitzrayim, which, by the way, is exactly what happens, even though not in this case, because Hashem took them in a roundabout way, but many times throughout their journeys in the Midbar, they say to Hashem, they say to Moshe, why did you take us out of Mitzrayim? You should have let us die there. And there was regret that they came out of Mitzrayim. The next instance of this is Moshe says to Hashem after the Chet HaEgel, and Hashem is furious at the Jewish people, and Hashem wants to kill them all and start over again with Moshe. And Moshe davens to Hashem and pleads, Hashem, please do not destroy this people. And what does Moshe say? What's his argument why Hashem shouldn't destroy them? Lama yomru Mitzrayim lemor. Why should Mitzrayim say, B'ra'ahu tziyam, he took them out of Mitzrayim for the bad, laharogosam, to kill them, beharim, in the mountains, ulachalosam me'al panei ha'adama, and to finish them off from the face of the earth. Now he says to Hashem, Shuv mecharon apecha, come back from your fuming anger, v'hinachem al hara'a, and reconsider the bad that you have planned for your nation. Again, we have nechama as a form of reconsidering. Just 4 more, and then we will start to uncover this mystery of what this word really means. So, after Moshe pleads to Hashem to forgive the Jewish people and to reconsider, this is what the Torah says. Vayinachem Hashem al hara'a asher diber lasos la'amo. Hashem did indeed reconsider. We know we're all here today. Hashem did indeed reconsider the bad thing that he wanted to do to his people. And finally, just 2 more, sorry. Finally, this is something that Bilam says. The second to last instance of this word in Tanakh is said by Bilam when he gets up to say one of his curses, which ends up being a blessing. Lo ish kel vichazev. Hashem is not a person who's deceitful. U ben adam vayisnachem hahu. Amar v'yisnachem. He is not a person who's always reconsidering. Hahu Amar v'lo ya'aseh. Does this one say and not do it? V'diber v'lo yikimena. Does he speak and not fulfill it? So Bilam is saying Hashem is not like a person who's always changing his mind. And our final instance in Tanakh, Ki yadin Hashem amo, Hashem will judge his nation, va'al avadav yisnecham, and on his nation he will reconsider, ki yer'eh ki azlas yad ve'efes atzur va'azuv, that Hashem is, Hashem has a strong hand. Here we have that, Hashem is always going to be steadfast to his nation. So when we look at all of these instances of where this word appears in the Torah, we see that the one thread that runs through all of them is that it is an expression of moving from one emotional state to another, of being in a certain frame of mind and helping somebody else or allowing yourself to move to a different emotional reality than you had before. When you think about that, Hashem regretted creating humans. It means that I used to be proud of you, and now I have moved to a different frame of mind. Now I'm regretful. Or when Hashem changed his mind about killing the Jewish people after the Chet HaEgel. I used to be angry at you, and now I am consoled. Now I changed my mind. When a person is consoled after a death, nichum avelim, what are we trying to do? We're trying to help a person get to a better place. And what do we say to them in a Shiva house? We say, Hamakom yenachem eschem. May Hashem comfort you. May Hashem help you move from a negative emotional reality to a more positive emotional reality. And when we think of nichum avelim, like as we classically think of that word nechama, right? To be menachem avel, it doesn't mean to cheer someone up. It doesn't mean to make them forget their worries, because nechama is something that always takes time. That when a person is in a sad emotional reality or a depressed emotional reality, Hashem created something called time that helps a person heal and helps a person move to a better emotional reality. And the Torah is very clear. How do you help a person who is mourning move to a better emotional reality? Not by minimizing their pain, not by saying, well, it wasn't so bad, at least he was young, at least he didn't suffer, at least you could get married again. Anything that starts with at least is an expression of minimizing somebody else's pain. The way you help somebody is not by minimizing their pain, it's by sitting with them in their pain. Or as it says in the Torah, Nosei ba'ol im chavero. You carry the burden with your friend. You don't try to take it away from them. You don't try to minimize it or pretend it's not there. You shoulder it together. And that is why nichum avelim, we're supposed to go there and not say whatever it is that we want to say. We wait for the mourner to speak and we follow their lead. We sit with them where they are. We meet them where they are. That is nichum avelim. And then when we get up to leave, listen carefully to what we say. Hamakom yenachem eschem. Hashem will be the one to comfort you. You know why? Because nobody can change your emotional reality in this sense except for Hashem, because time heals the wounds. And yes, people can come and sit with you and be with you. And that, ironically, without trying to cheer the person up, it makes the person feel better because they know that they're not alone. But we say, Hamakom yenachem. It's a future tense. Hashem will comfort you. I don't expect you to cheer up right now. That's not reality. But I believe that in the future, you will not feel as bad as you feel right now. I remember one time when I was in a very dark place and feeling very sad and alone about something that was going on. And a friend of mine said to me, you're not always going to feel as bad as you do right now. And I didn't believe her, but she was right. Because just knowing that there is an end and that sometimes you feel better and that sometimes things do change, even if you're not feeling any happier or you have such a hard time seeing that things can change, but just knowing that time can heal the wounds is so powerful and can already make you feel a little bit better. So When we have in our davening on Tisha B'Av, one of the things that we say in Mincha is we say, Nachem Hashem Elokeinu es avei Tzion. Hashem, console the mourners of Tzion. We ask Hashem to comfort us. You know why? Because the truth is that you can't cheer yourself up. You need others to make you feel better. When you are sitting in a negative emotional space, you can't throw yourself a lifeboat. It's like even the most incredible lifeguard cannot rescue himself from drowning. So we turn to others and we say, Nachem. When Eov was mourning, his friends came and they came to be Menachem. They came to be with him in his struggle. And we say to Hashem, Hashem, you console us. We can't console ourselves. Think about the story of Rabbi Akiva when he and his colleagues were walking through Har HaBayis and his colleagues were crying because they saw the foxes running around where the Kodesh HaKadoshim was. And we know the story that Rabbi Akiva was laughing. And they said to him, how could you be laughing when you look at this utter destruction? And he said, because I know the nevuah that said that the foxes will be prowling over Har HaBayis. And so if that nevuah came true, then the other nevuos must come true, where it says, Od yeshvu zikenim uzikenos berchovosenu. There will still be a time when the old people and the young people and the boys and the girls will all be thronging through Yerushalayim. And if the first nevuah is true, then the second nevuah must be true. And the same reason why you cry, that's the same reason why I laugh. And what did they say to him? Akiva nichamtanu. They use that same word. Akiva, you've given us hope. You've changed our mindset. Why? Not because anything is better right now, but because you've showed us that it won't always be this bad. And that's a lifeline. So in our Haftorah for this week, what does Hashem say? Yeshaya. Hashem says to Yeshaya, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. Comfort, comfort my people. It's not telling Bnei Yisrael, be comforted. It's telling Yeshaya to comfort them. You know why? Because you can't comfort yourself. It's too hard to get yourself out of it. So Hashem tells Yeshaya, I want you to comfort my people. How? By explaining to them that this will get better. That everything will get better. And that just as bad as it is right now, everything can turn around in an instant. And Hashem can make the worst thing become okay and become right. You know, I think we all have experienced this where sometimes you're just having a really depressing day and things seem kind of bleak and you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning and somehow you just feel a little better. Why? Nothing has changed, but somehow you just feel a little spark of hope. That's a little gift of nechama from Hashem. That's Hashem telling you, I know it feels so bad, but it won't always feel this bad. I'd like to end by reading to you from one of my favorite songs. This is the song Nachamu by Aryeh Kunstler. It's very beautiful. I suggest that you look it up. And I'm just going to read to you the words. The words are so beautiful and really, really express what we've been talking about. Smile and dry the tears that streak your weary face. Your wounded soul will be consoled by the wonders of this place. Laugh away the fears, no need to be afraid. The storm will pass, see sunlight splash on these stones and on your face. After these long days of sorrow, after this long night ends, there'll come a time to leave the sadness behind. You'll rejoice again. After this black night passes, a new light will dawn and you'll see. Look how it shines. Follow the signs. Nachamu ami. So be strong, be true, be brave. You got to keep your head up high. You're young and you'll be smiling soon. There's no need to cry. Smile and dry the tears. The day will soon be gone. You'll rise again, throw off these chains, return and carry on. After these long days of sorrow, after this long night ends, there'll come a time to leave the sadness behind. You'll rejoice again. After this black night passes, a new light will dawn and you'll see. Look how it shines. Follow the signs. Nachamu ami. Davru alev Yerushalayim v'kiru eleha. Davru alev Yerushalayim v'kiru eleha. After these long days of sorrow, after this long night ends, there'll come a time to leave the sadness behind. We'll rejoice again. After this black night passes, a new light will dawn and you'll see. Look how it shines. Follow the signs. Nachamu ami. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, that was beautiful, Ruchi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, we all need Nachamu. Ezrat Hashem will have it very, very soon.
Amen.
Okay, everybody. Yeah. Okay, everybody. I'm just going to quickly do the Shmiras Halashon. We're day 59. I just want to give a thank you to everybody. Thank you to
So amazing.
To everybody who participated today. Thank you so much. I'm just going to, 1 second. Thank you to Hashem. Thank you. 1 second.
Hello, welcome to day 59. Today, the Chavetz Chaim offers another reason why we shouldn't believe Lashon Hara that's said in our presence. When a person speaks Lashon Hara, he transgresses the commandment of Lo Telech Rachil Ba'amecha. You shouldn't go peddling gossip in amongst your people. And the person who does that, by the way, puts themselves in the category of an evil person. And as a Rasha, their words certainly don't have credibility, or we can suspect him of either lying or exaggerating or distorting the truth. And furthermore, the wicked person is telling us negative information about somebody who we have to assume is an upstanding, observant Jew. So certainly we shouldn't accept his wicked words as fact. And if we hear the same negative information, by the way, from 2 or more people, we might be more inclined to believe it. But the Chavetz Chaim says this is also untrue, because when wicked people speak wicked words, numbers are meaningless. Even if a dozen people are offering the same negative information, it shouldn't be accepted. Now, the Chavetz Chaim adds this halakha applies even where the 2 speakers who actually are not deemed to be wicked people in general. For example, if 2 people go up to somebody and say, listen, I know that Mr. X is planning on taking you down, your business or what have you. Now, if they're telling the truth, of course, they're doing a big favor to the person. It's a mitzvah to warn somebody of impending. However, the listener can here only protect themselves, like we said a few days ago, on the chance that this report is true. They can't accept it as fact. And this is because testimony of 2 people only has validity in a bet din, in a rabbinical court. And when 2 people report negative information about someone outside a bet din, they're not restrained by the possibility of being called false witnesses, and therefore there can't be any form of witnessing outside of a court or outside of the adjudication of a bet din, and therefore the report can't be accepted as fact. Now, what if a rumor circulates in a city that a Jew committed a certain crime? You're not allowed to believe it. And this applies also to reports in newspapers or other media sources. In this case also, if the information is relevant for a constructive purpose, a person can take the necessary precautions for themselves, but may not accept it as fact. However, there are instances where a person can believe negative reports, and this is when an abundance of reports regarding a certain person circulate over a period of time, telling of various averot or sinful things that this person has done to the point where he would no longer be viewed as an observant Jew. Then it would be permitted to believe those reports. As the Chavetz Chaim puts it, we're not required to think that the community has made a mistake again and again and again regarding the same individual. But with regards to things that are circulated widely in the media, it tends to be that very few people know the actual facts. And I think it could happen that many people would be very, very surprised to know that what's actually being said is actually quite far from the truth, and therefore we have an obligation to err on the side of caution and view this person in a positive light until we know otherwise.
Okay, so just quickly, I saw Ruchi is said that people are asking her if she has online podcasts and stuff. Ruchi, send me the information and I'll post it. I'll post how for people to get in touch with you or how to hear your podcast, et cetera, so people can join in. I just want to tell you that just before we get off, first of all, tomorrow we have, let me see, 1 second, sorry. We have Rebbitzin Fegi Horowitz, actually. I just want to mention quickly, there's no format. We have to grow this format of women teaching women and having such a variety of women. It's such a difference when women are actually teaching women and women are actually learning from women. So I think we really need to to grow this whole idea and just keep expanding it, because it's unbelievable. It's really the voice, the Torah, the perspective, the pneumius of the woman. Okay, everybody, I have to go. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, everybody. Really, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ruchi. It was beautiful. And thank you to everybody else. Have a great day. We'll see each other tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you,
Be
Naomi.
well.
Thank you, Naomi. Have a
you.
great day, everybody.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Avia.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Avia, can you
Nomala.
stop the, thank you. Have a great day.
Tears that shriek your weary face, and it's all will be told by the wonders of this place. Laugh away the fears, there's no need to be afraid. This storm will pass, God will be flash on these stones. Days of sorrow after these long nights, and we'll come and find is fine. We'll rejoice again after this black night. A new life will dawn, and you'll see, look how it shines. You're young and you'll be fine. There's no need to fear.
Can I ask everybody to just go off, because I'm not the host and I can't end the meeting? Can everybody just, Javier, you have to end the meeting.